Hello book lovers, welcome back to Pro Cabinet with Books. Now reading books is like tasting wine. You have to first develop a taste for it by tasting different types, savoring the flavor and giving yourself time to actually develop the overall flavor within yourself as well. Same goes for reading too. So in this particular video, I'm going to share a few beginner friendly books which are suitable for the modern age readers, that is, you've already grown tired of seeing the same books being recommended over and over again, The Alchemist, and few other common classics that everybody wants you to read, but you can't really either get a hang of it, or you really want to read something next beyond that. So for that very reason, I have classified this video into different categories. Now within the categories, rather than going straight forward to a particular genre, we have tried to customize it further into classifications such as cozy mysteries or books about books or mythology sections and those interest areas that cater to a specific audience. And if you're interested to watch this further, let's dive in. The first section that we have is cozy mysteries. Now within cozy mysteries, these books are usually set up around either certain kind of bookstores, libraries or cafes for that matter, so that it creates a cozy ambience for the plotline to progress in. And the storyline does not have a lot of high stakes. It's a pretty medium to low stakes kind of a storyline. Plus they also have a smooth transitioning effect into the mystery that is evolving around. A good few examples for such books would be Legends and Lattes, Murder at the Bookstore, or even Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murders. The next category that we have is books about books. Now within books about books, there are further theme lines. So if you're looking for some sort of a romance story in the periphery of books, then I think you can go for Book Lovers, which is a great story by Emily Henry, probably the only story that I also enjoyed. If you're also looking for a short trip related story or people going out on for a vacations to take break from their real lives, I think the Book Club Hotel is another great pick. If you have imagination on your side and you are in mood to experiment something further down the line, then Olivetti, which is the story narrated by a typewriter's perspective, is another great addition to check out in the books about books area. It's a very streamlined story, the plotline is very strong, plus the engagement of readers to actually the storyline is really great in this book. Now, if you're looking for stories that are actually correlatable with the modern age or the modern world setup, I think a few contemporary picks that you can try would be A Man Called Obi and Tuesdays with Maury, which are both really well written stories crafted around old age and the communications with a young age, and that aspect in itself is worth reading while. Now, in self help books, there are two main categories that people these days really want to read, but they just don't know where to start with. One is your lifestyle improvement section, and the other is your financial improvement segment. Now, if I talk about lifestyle improvement section, I think Atomic Habits is the most worldwide recommended book that everyone should read, so I would be recommending that to you. Plus, there is Deeper Mindfulness as well, which is a really great book for you to explore and work upon your inner self to help your intuitiveness reach out at maximum capacity. Now, when I talk about financial related books or books that help you understand the concepts of money and how you actually work upon your own wealth from the very scratch, I think Psychology of Money is obviously a very well-known book, and if your interests align with it, you should read that first. Then there is Hidden Potential by Adam Grant, which is another great book around the similar aspects of world, wealth, money, psychology related aspect, and I think these two books really pair up well. Is also Good with Money around the same topic, which actually helps you understand your relationship with money, and the whole book is about how you actually develop a good relationship with your own money that you have already been earning, and how you actually, rather than focusing on saving it, actually help it in a growth mindset rather than shoving it down the pillow and just collecting a stack. It's a really game of changing the way you think and rewiring all those brain cells to a different angle. Now, mythology, which is one of the most renowned genre all across the globe, has several subcategories depending on which area of mythology are we referring to. If I talk about Greek mythology, Hera by Jennifer Saint is a great example to recently read. It's recently been released, and I'm sure people who have already read Troy, Song of Achilles, Circe, and many other books which are in this genre would absolutely love to read this. Then if I talk about Indian mythology books, I think anyone who is really looking to start somewhere should start by the Meluha series by Amish Tripathi. He also further down the line has, I think, Ramchandra series, which has 4 books now, now that the 4th book is out already. But these two are like the most epic books that I've ever read on Indian mythology related stories. You're also looking to explore Norse mythology related stories, I think the best place to start would be Norse mythology by Neil Gaiman. And if you're also looking for Chinese mythology, I think The Daughter of the Moon Goddess is a good fantasy book which has a baseline of Chinese mythology tales. I would recommend Poppy War, but it's a huge task to accomplish. So, for starters, I think The Daughter of the Moon Goddess has slight spice, slight fantasy elements, slight war angles, related stories, and it would be good to start with since it's not that junky as well. Now, if you're looking for little doses of wisdom and philosophy in your real life, books that you actually just read 1 or 2 pages and that's it for the day, and you just flip through the pages, have little doses of wisdom in your real life, and keep going on rather than inculcating into deep, meaningful chapters, I think those quick few doses would be examples like Meditations by Marcus Aurelius and books like Ikigai. If you have enjoyed those books, I think you should probably try next reading Wabi Sabi by Beth Kempton or Kaizen by Sarah Harvey. There is also another book, The Hugo, which is the Danish way of living, which is another great book explaining you how they actually live a life of fulfillment and happiness. For my lovers of murder mysteries, I think people who really like adult murder mysteries with a little bit adventure or thrilling aspect to it, I think the Frida McFadden's The Housemaid series, which has 3 books in it now, is a really good place to start or get yourself stuck through that series as well. It follows the same protagonist in all 3 books, but it does not mean that the story is incomplete and you have to read the next part to know what really happens at the end. Each book is a complete story in itself, so you can try the first book, then go on to the second and the third one, and they are good enough for you to start in and get started on an adventurous journey in the murder mystery series. I'm actually looking for stories that are based out on the murder mystery plot around some sort of festival. I think 12 Days of Murder, which is situated around a murder mystery around Christmas, would be also a good entertaining story for you guys. Now, besides all the recommendations that I've made, there is one last piece of wisdom that I really wanted to share with you guys, which is what kind of books should you actually avoid if you are a beginner. This is coming from personal experiences and my fellow bookstore friends who have recently started their book reading journey and are experiencing some sort of reading slump because of few wrong choices that they make. So a combined wisdom is here for you guys. Instead of reading the ones that usually people refer to as classics, you might want to stay away from most of them because most of them are considered into the literary fiction genre within the classic element. Plus, most of the books are pretty chunky, so it would be difficult for people or the new beginners to actually commit to a story. For example, Little Women is a quite thick piece of literature. Then there is Count of Monte Cristo, again great stories, but it's a little difficult to stick to them even for latter stages readers like us. Then there are also epic fantasies where you might want to stay at an arm's length at the beginning. You first introduce yourself to cozy mysteries and whimsical stories and then probably get to the epic fantasy pieces because there is a lot of world building, there are a lot of characters, and there's a lot of complexities that may not, you know, suit the taste buds of a new reader. Then there is final catch of historical fiction. Now, not all historical fictions are non-beginner friendly, but the particular ones that actually deal with any sort of kings, kingdoms, reigns, and regimes, those sorts of plot lines I think are not that beginner friendly. A, because it has a hell lot of characters usually. B, because there are plots and within plots and plot twists within that. So there are layers of complexities which I think as a new reader you might have not liking to, but if you do have liking to, you might just as well go it and give it a try. And that would be a wrap from our side. Let me know in the comments down below which of these books are you really excited to read, or are there any categories that actually entice your reading buds and you might want to try them. Let me know in the comments down below. I'll catch up with you in my next video. Until then, keep your coffee strong and your TBRs long. Goodbye.